Now at 5, authorities identify a man who drowned at Chapman's Grand Falls. Plus, a judge's ruling in a restraining order case between Newton County officials and
a major step forward in the fight to help veterans exposed to toxic burn pits and other hazards. I'm Natalie Brandt with the Senate vote on bipartisan legislation and why it's so needed.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Authorities in Chapman today released the identity of the man who drowned in Grand Falls this week. This is KOAM News at 5. The man is identified as 35-year-old Stanley Luke of Carterville, Missouri. Authorities say on Tuesday, Luke tried to go over the falls with a pool toy, hit a rock, and drowned. Search crews from several local departments have been looking for Luke since he went missing. They recovered his body shortly after 6 p.m. yesterday. A Chapman man who was originally accused of kidnapping another man at gunpoint gets 5 years probation on a plea deal. Chapman police say Benjamin Bartlett held a man at gunpoint in the back of a car in December and refused to let him leave. Officers found the car and gave chase. Eventually, Bartlett left the car and ran, but was caught. Bartlett pled guilty to resisting arrest, and prosecutors have dropped the kidnapping charge. A judgment has been made in a restraining order case the Newton County Treasurer and Recorder filed against the Newton County Commissioners. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky joins us in the studio now with more.
Now, newly released court documents show a judge's finding in the case. Originally, a restraining order was filed by the Newton County Recorder's Office and Treasurer's Office against the county commissioners. The injunction alleged the recorder and treasurer switched to a new IT provider picked by the commissioners. On Tuesday, a judge ruled the plaintiff's county recorder and treasurer can hire their own IT experts. The judge also ruled the recorder and treasurer's request to forbid county commissioners from entering into their offices was denied. Finally, the recorder and treasurer's attorney fees are to be paid from general revenue from the Newton County Treasury and will be taxed against the county commissioners. I'm Bronte Sorotsky for KOAM News.
Thanks. Handed out more than $24,000 in grants. The Rotary Club of Chapman gave out grants between $500 and $10,000 to 9 area organizations. Those organizations include the Ronald McDonald House Pro Musica and the Community Clinic of Southwest Missouri.
This check today will actually upgrade our moms, the breast pumps that our moms use. One of our local hospitals actually upgraded their breast pumps, and so in order for them to actually have access to that new technology, the Chapman Rotary Club will enable us to do that.
The organization announced the grants at an event at the End Zone facility at Missouri Southern. Once again, hot out there, Doug Heddy.
Yeah, even a little bit hotter today compared to what we have seen over the past couple days. Temperatures well into the 90s. We've had a few cumulus clouds, but besides that, we look pretty good. There's not too much going on here. We are watching for thunderstorms to our north parts of Iowa and northern parts of Missouri, but these are going to stay north of us. We're dominated by a big dome of high pressure, meaning hot and humid as we go through the next few days. Look at our temps. We're sitting mainly into low to mid 90s. If you want to get outside this evening, it's fine. It's just hot and humid. Look at our heat indices. Most of us well above 100 degrees. Through the evening hours, we drop back through the 90s, 80s, only down to the mid 70s a little bit later on tonight. Of course, we'll look into the weekend here in just a bit.
See you then. The House Select Committee investigating the January 6th Capitol assault hosted another hearing today, this time focusing on the campaign to pressure former Vice President Mike Pence into changing the election results. Members argue that former President Trump provoked an angry mob that day to target the former vice president, even though he knew Mr. Pence would not overturn the results. The Senate has approved a bill aimed at helping millions of military veterans exposed to overseas burn pits. The legislation passed today would establish a presumptive link between certain illnesses and exposure to toxic waste dumps in war zones. The goal is to make it easier for veterans to obtain health care and other benefits. Natalie Brandt reports from Washington.
The yeas are 84, the nays are 14.
The U.S. Senate cast an overwhelming bipartisan vote and took a step forward in the fight to help veterans exposed to burn pits and other toxic hazards while stationed overseas.
This is the greatest advance in veterans' health care in decades.
This bill is about righting a wrong that has been ignored for just way too damn long.
It's a moment advocates spent years pushing for amid rising numbers of respiratory illnesses and cancers among veterans of the armed forces. The Senate bill is named for Sergeant First Class Heath Robinson.
He fought valiantly for 3 years to survive as long as he could for his daughter.
The new legislation will make it easier for veterans to claim benefits and treatment for 23 diseases and rare cancers related to toxic exposure. CBS News has reported on veterans who spent years fighting to get their claims approved, with most denied in recent years. It's an issue that caught the attention and focus of comedian Jon Stewart.
This doesn't solve anybody's problem. This just removes the burden from their fight that never should have been there in the first place.
President Biden has talked about this issue and about his own son's lost battle with brain cancer after serving in Iraq near burn pits. He's expected to sign the bill as quickly as it reaches his desk.
First, it must head back to the House, where the Speaker has promised to move swiftly to take it up. It's estimated the legislation could help around 3.5 million veterans exposed to toxic fumes. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Still ahead, safety concerns over a popular pet product.
There are demands for a recall of a popular flea collar after more than 2,500 dog deaths. I'm Michael George with why the product is still on store shelves.
And next in Health Watch, a look at the latest research into migraines and treatments. Topping today's Health Watch, researchers at UCLA say adult flu vaccination rates have declined in states with low rates of COVID-19 vaccination. The authors say controversy over the COVID shot might be undermining other public health efforts and signaling a declining trust in both medicine and the government. Almost 40 million Americans live with migraine disease and headache disorder, according to the National Headache Foundation. June is Migraine and Headache Awareness Month. And reporter Wendy Gillette has the latest on research and treatments.
Sun and heat can be triggers for headaches and migraines, according to the American Migraine Foundation. In addition to throbbing head pain, migraines can include nausea, vomiting, and sensitivity to light and sound. They can last from 4 to 72 hours, and they're 3 times more common in women. Researchers believe there is a genetic reason why 1 in 6 people experience migraines. They can be triggered by stress, anxiety, hormonal changes, bright lights, lack of food, water, or sleep. Treatments include several FDA-approved medications and behavioral changes like exercise, relaxation techniques, eating regularly scheduled meals, and sticking to a consistent sleep schedule. A study in the British Medical Journal last fall found switching to a plant-based diet packed with dark leafy vegetables helped a long-time migraine patient when no medications helped his pain. To prevent a migraine in the summer, experts say stay hydrated, wear hats and use umbrellas, and always wear sunglasses with polarized lenses. Botox injections and lidocaine infusions are also shown to be beneficial. A recent Danish study finds people who suffer the most from headaches and migraines are those who take nothing for their pain and those who use painkillers on a daily basis. Researchers believe those are the under and over medicated populations and say patients should stay in communication with their doctors to keep their symptoms at bay. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, New York.
A new study in the BMJ suggests medicalizing menopause might not be helpful for some women. Researchers in Australia say while hormone replacement therapy can help with hot flashes and night sweats, treating menopause as a deficiency can also fuel negative expectations. The study authors advocate raising awareness and reducing the stigma around menopause. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, why Ford is recalling nearly 3 million vehicles.
Plus the heat and the humidity sticking around for a bit. What about rain chances? We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it definitely turned out to be another hot one for us today, even hotter than what we have seen over the past couple days. Temperatures shot up. into the mid-90s for highs. Of course, the humidity up there, but mainly dry, staying hot, a lot of humidity. Very typical summer-like pattern. If you want the long-range forecast, you can go to my month-long blog. That is KOAMnewsnow.com. Let's go outside. Here's a nice shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri, but you can see those partly cloudy skies. Temperatures, everybody, low to mid-90s still after 5 p.m. Then you factor in the humidity, you get the wonderful heat index, the way it actually feels to your skin, about 103, 4, 5 degrees. So if you are going to be outside this evening, make sure you drink plenty of fluids. You will definitely need it, as it's very hot and very humid. We slide back through the 90s, 80s, eventually into the mid-70s a little bit later on tonight. All right, just a few clouds out there, a few cumulus clouds which have popped up across the region, but besides that, we're not getting any rain underneath the clouds. So we are dry. We're going to stay dry through the evening. Any big-time storms will stay to our north, southern parts, Iowa, and the northern parts of Missouri, and these will eventually later drop into central Missouri, but these should stay north and east of us. We're just kind of dominated by this big dome of high pressure. Until this breaks down, we're not going to see much of really any changes. What really kind of happens here is it forces the jet stream way up into Canada, down through the New England states. We do get some weak waves that try to rotate around, give us a shower from time to time. But overall, as we go through next week, here's Sunday, here's Monday, high pressure stays right in charge. It kind of sits on us and then finally moves back toward the southwest by the middle of next week, and that will give us at least some chances that we could get some showers, maybe a few thunderstorms in here. Until then, this is what we got. We drop back through the 80s into the 70s. We'll get some clouds in here later on tonight due to the storms up across north central parts of Missouri. As we go through the day, quick warm up, near 90 by noon. I think most of us mid-90s again as we head into the afternoon. I am going to throw a very slight chance for an isolated thunderstorm, but 99% of you will be dry. 73 to start, 88 by noon, high temp 93, southerly winds at about 5 to 15. As we go into tomorrow night, temperatures drop back into the 70s once again, and then as we go into the weekend, much of the same. Can see an isolated thunderstorm or two trying to get going, especially on the Missouri side as we go into Saturday afternoon, but the chances again are pretty low. All right, heat indices up there, again 100 to about 105 for us tomorrow. Much of the same on Saturday, about 100 to 105 as we head into Saturday afternoon. So drink plenty of fluids if you're going to be outside. 95 tomorrow, 93 Friday, all the way down to 91 Saturday, 93 on Father's Day. I got my Father's Day pin in the wrong spot. I'll fix that.
Yeah. It's pretty sad when you have to say all the way down to 91.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Yes, it is. Thanks, Doug. Floodwaters that forced Yellowstone National Park to close are now causing heavy damage in nearby Montana. The high level of the Yellowstone River forced the closure of the water treatment plant in Billings, Montana's largest city. It's now running again at low capacity. A statewide emergency has been declared there. Officials say they can meet the city's essential needs, but only if residents there can serve their water. If your signal of KOAM or Fox 14 gets kind of glitchy, don't forget it is a sign of progress. We're going to be broadcasting from a lower temporary antenna while the crew installs a new, more technically advanced antenna at the top of our tower. Final step in our More Power project. It's going to allow some viewers who previously lost our signal to get us again, and if all goes according to plan, we're going to be back up and stronger than ever by the end of June. Coming up, demands from lawmakers to recall a popular flea collar. First, though, we honor a local veteran. Jerry Chapman served in the U.S. Air Force from 1972 to 1975. The Jasper, Missouri native was stationed in Japan, and we salute Staff Sergeant Jerry Chapman, a four-state hero. You know, you can learn about lots and lots of other heroes from all across this area. You can also submit a hero of your own anytime. We invite you to do that. Just click on the link on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Topping today's Consumer Watch, Ford is recalling 2.9 million cars and SUVs that could roll away even when placed in park. That's not good. The vehicles are the 2013 to 2019 Escape, 2013 to 2018 C-Max, 2013 to 2016 Fusion, and 2013 to 2021 Transit Connect. The transmission on the affected vehicles may not really be in the park position, even though the shifter position indicates that the vehicle was shifted to park. There's some controversy and concern surrounding one of the most sought-after pet products on the market. Lawmakers and some pet owners say the Seresto flea and tick collar can be harmful to dogs and cats, while the company is standing by its product. Reporter Michael George has the latest.
A popular flea and tick collar may not be safe for your pet, and lawmakers are now renewing their call to take the Seresto collar off the market.
This particular collar has caused 100,000 incidents reported to the EPA and over 2,500 pet deaths reported to the EPA.
Following a 16-month investigation, a House subcommittee is asking the EPA to revamp its review process for products with pesticides and is asking Elanco, the company that makes the collar, to issue a voluntary recall. Pet owners say the collars have led to skin irritation, seizures, and death.
Tigger had a Seresto collar around his neck at the time of his death.
Faye Hemsley blames the Seresto collar for her dog's sudden death.
None of my other 3 dogs had this Seresto collar, and none of my other dogs got sick or died.
Seresto collars contain 2 different pesticides designed to ward off fleas and ticks. Elanco says the collars are safe.
The data from our pharmacovigilance team and the review of the data over 10 years, the 33 million dogs that have worn the collar, there's no linkage to the active ingredients to a pet death.
At least for now, the Seresto collar is still available for purchase, but pet owners we spoke with are staying clear of it.
It's scary, for sure scary, and I can't believe that they're still being sold on shelves.
While the EPA has not found cause to recall the Seresto collars, the agency advises consumers who experience problems with any EPA-registered pet collar to notify their veterinarian and to contact the National Pesticide Information Center. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
The Seresto collar has been popular with pet owners because it claims to ward off ticks and fleas for 8 months, compared with other products that must be applied monthly. A lot of Americans are back to shopping the old-fashioned way, and that is in person. Last month, online retail sales rose 2.2% compared to May of 2021, according to MasterCard. However, in-store purchases, they jumped up 13.4%. Some analysts say inflation is playing a factor, causing some consumers to shy away from buying big-ticket items like furniture, which is often bought online. It's getting harder to afford to finance a home. Mortgage rates increased by more than 0.5 percentage point this week. That's according to Freddie Mac. It's the largest one-week jump since 1987. Comes amid rising inflation and yesterday's interest rate hike by the Federal Reserve. The 30-year fixed-rate mortgage averaged 5.78% in the past week. Final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, the latest on today's hearing by the January 6th Investigation Committee. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to have more details on a restraining order case involving Newton County officials. Plus, a candidate for Kansas Attorney General endorses lowering the legal drinking age. Stay with us. CBS Evening News, then KOAM News at 6. Folks in Joplin are spending the evening downtown for Third Thursday, just getting underway. This is a live look. It runs until 8:30 tonight. The festivities include live music, food, local artisans. The theme of this month's Third Thursday is You Belong in Joplin. To celebrate, they're going to be holding a solidarity walk beginning tonight at 6. We'll be checking back in then. Meantime, it's kind of warm out there.
Yeah, a little hot for Third Thursday. Temperatures are still sitting into lower 90s. Look at this, 95 tomorrow, 93 Saturday, 91 on Sunday. I have 10% chances in for an isolated afternoon thunderstorm. Most of you stay dry. Went ahead and went all the way into next weekend. Not much of a break.
I guess not. Wow. Thanks for joining us. CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.